In truth, I was nervous upon her arrival, but I adapted as one must. I even began to accept the pitter-patter of her little feet, the mess she left in her wake, my general unease with her daily presence. After all, I was doing my duty as her only living relative to care for the thing upon her parents' tragic demise, to clothe it and feed it, put it on my family plan. I did as I was told to do by the proper authorities on the subject. I gave up my life of peace and solitude and dark contemplations upon midnight's dreary, and resigned myself to a life with her. I even, despite all reason, became accustomed to her smell.
Uncle Hecty! My blow dryer blew the power out again. Fix it now. I can't have curly hair. It's so gross. It'll look like your hair. And cut the candle shit. It gives me
It was only on the 15th year that I began to notice
it.
the change, the growth of that most hideous tongue of hers. Some may say that at the same time, I too went undergone change. That I had developed an acute sense of hearing, a vicious talent for self-torture. Some may say that the stirring of echoes within me was as much the doing of my heightened bodily organs as it was a product of her villainous mouth, perhaps. But I must tell you, in fact, I must insist, I did not go mad at that sound, my friends. No. Not at the verbal lashings, and the taunting, and the texting, and the telephone bills. Many men, sane men like me, pained as they are, would feel as I did, would understand what I did.
Ew, Jesse, Uncle Hecty is talking to himself again. He's so like To Catch a Predator meets The Shining, but with worse skin and hair. Fuck me with the rocket. How do we even come from the same gene pool?
Becky, I'm right here. Also, I made dinner for you.
I know. Yeah. OMG. Yeah. Ew, no. Hell no. You know I don't eat.
It's true. She did not. Not anymore. To put food within that most oratory of orifices would have stopped the inanity for a moment, provide a brief respite from the torture chamber of popular culture. But alas, there was none. I admit, I considered it at first, at that moment. It was then, at that dinner, that last meal of ours, that I had the first thoughts trickle into the recesses of my weary mind.
If these bitches weren't famous, they would never be hot enough for Justin Bieber. I bet she's not even a real believer. Do you think I'm hotter than Miley? I can't believe she got that part over me. I'm so much more believable as a singer slash actor slash child prostitute than her. Also, her teeth are big. Aren't they like too big? Like I feel like her gums are smiling at me. Not cute.
After that night, I began my plan. I made myself a ghost in my own house, lurking in the shadows, watching her sleep, observing the way she cradled that phone in her hands, clutching it to her heart, it lulling her to sleep with siren songs. My nightly vigils went unnoticed. I could not spot a hint of concern in her cold eyes. In fact, the chatter only worsened as the days progressed. I had to stop it.
Ew, stop! Stop! You're not telling Amy. Because you know how I feel about fat chicks at parties. They're like walking blowjobs all over anything with balls. Duh. A keg. I didn't even ask. Little freaks wrapped around my finger.
I allowed her to believe that. If I doth protest too much, she would notice and catch on, and all my plans would go for naught. No, I would smile and nod and play nice uncle to the wretched beast until...
So, Hecty, I'm thinking it would be best if you made yourself scarce this Saturday. I'm having peeps over, and you just have this way of kind of looming over things all gargoyle-like, and it kind of freaks the shit out of normal human beings. So, if you don't mind, maybe like hiding in a dark corner somewhere, or maybe going on some like a weirdo retreat, or whatever it is you do for kicks, that would be so cool of you. Yeah, don't go all sad face about it, Hecty. You know it's for the best, really. You wouldn't want the kids at school to think I'm strange, would you?
Of course not. Thank you for warning me in advance, my dear. I shall put that in my calendar right away. Shall make altered arrangements post-haste.
Oh, thank you, Hecty. Sometimes you're really not as disgusting as you look. Oh. Hey, bitch. Sorry.
I did not mean to kill her. Not at first. Merely to pry that phone from her iron clutch. But as I made my way to her room that evening, I stepped on a wayward heel, and she must have heard me stumble about, for she shrieked in such a way I had never heard neither beast nor animal squeal before. And I only meant to quiet the sound, to stop the ringing in my ear. And with the swift move of her pillow, it was done. And so was she. From then I had to move quickly. I chopped my niece into 17 neat little pieces. I eliminated every trace of evidence so meticulously I could not help but pride myself with my good work. Not a single significant disturbance anywhere. Not a bloody trace of her left. Oh, all but one thing. Somewhere I had lost the hand, and with it the phone. The source of my unrest. The whole thing this was for. The thought of it tired me so. I could not help it. I allowed my eyes to droop, and sweet slumber soon overcame me. He came in the morn. The man from AT&T. Looking more than a bit suspicious.
Hi. My associates called, but you didn't answer, so they sent me. We're not used to that, you understand. Usually when someone discovers these kinds of roaming charges, they're quick to correct the matter. Such discrepancies are highly unusual.
I didn't know there was anything the matter, sir.
Evasion doesn't sit well with me, Mr. Gray. Not with such a large bill at hand, and with such unusual cellular activity.
Well, there's no evasion here. I'll answer any question you have.
Your niece is on your family plan, is that correct?
Oh, yes, of course. And a great plan it is.
The calls I came to discuss, they came from her account. Perhaps she could join us in the room. Is she home?
Oh, I'm sorry. My niece is gone on a very important school trip for the next week in the next town over with absolutely no service whatsoever. You campgrounds, bears, you understand.
Right.
This kind of thing is...
I understand that you're trying to protect her, sir.
Oh, no. I would never. What? Have I ever missed a bill payment? Have I ever done anything out of the ordinary? I think not.
Out of the ordinary? Over the last 24 hours, there have been calls placed from the account of your niece, Becky Gray, to over 50 different foreign countries. I've never seen anything like it, at least not in such a short period of time.
That's simply impossible.
Well, that's exactly why I'm here, to clear the matter up. There's always an explanation for these sorts of things. Perhaps Becky could explain it herself if she would care to join us.
When she returns from her trip, she can answer any question you like.
Please don't lie. She's not on a trip. As I said before, I have evidence here that the calls came from this very address.
Does he merely want my money? Or does he believe there's something more devious at hand? As his eyes locked in the back of my skull, I could not help but fear the latter. And then, out of nowhere, I heard the faintest sound. A subtle, ringing sensation in the back of my mind. A harlot song.
Mr. Gray, you are aware that I can trace a phone call to the precise room in which it was made, are you not?
And then it hit me then, where I placed the hand. The hand that holds the phone, the song, it rings in my ear louder now. It is here, underneath the floorboards.
Mr. Gray, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I feel I must, as you're acting quite strange now. Before all this funny business with the long-distance calling to foreign countries, your niece sent one last text message. It said, "Help me."
It's impossible.
Why would she say that, sir, unless she was in some sort of trouble?
When? How? It could not be. I had seen to everything.
Mr. Gray, if there's anything you need to tell me, now would be the time, before any of the higher-ups get involved. From what I hear, they...
You hear it? You know, don't you?
Excuse me?
You know.
Mr. Gray, this is your last chance.
I confess! I did it! I killed the girl! Just stop the thumping of that wretched ringtone!